Okay, we are alive.
For now.
Okay, oh, there that goes. Okay, I'm gonna see if this works while we are alive. Like that, because this was fucking up when I linked it in the Discord last time.
I'll show you live yet. They'll check.
Okay. Does it show that we're live on here? Yes, it does.
I think it takes a minute.
Okay. Okay. Throw this up in the server. Okay. Cool. Dina, can you say something in the chat for us?
Yeah.
Hey, it works. Okay. Wanted to see if updating the dock on OBS before the stream is live worked. So, okay. Let's double check. I don't know a way to actually see how many viewers we have aside from just going here. There is one watching right now. That's probably you. Fuck it, whatever. Let's.
I mean, we're technically recording.
We are, yeah. Do we want to? Do we want to just go, or wait for some people to get in here? I mean, it's kind of late. There's probably not going to be that
late.
many.
Probably not going to be here. Like, let's just go for it.
Okay. All right. So, let's go full screen there. All right. We have conducted most of our interviews. We had 18 of them to do over the course of about 9 days. Didn't get through all of them. There's just a couple we're doing last minute over this coming week. We just have the Porygons left, the SoCal Cheek Drillers, and then the Cheek Drillers are also grading our draft. Yeah. We haven't done those interviews yet, but all of the teams have been graded. That's how we are. Oh, Dina, can you check the sound for us?
Yeah.
That's it'd be kind of lame if. Okay, I was just gonna say it'd be kind of lame if I was talking this whole time and nobody could hear me.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. Anyway, we're still new to this whole streaming thing, so we're doing what we can with it. Anyway, so everybody has been graded, including the teams that we have not interviewed. The Cheek Drillers will be interviewing us as well after we conduct theirs. They have at least sent us their grades for our draft. So just full disclosure once again, we did not grade our own draft. We had Hector, Allan, and Brian doing that. We also, all of the power rankings are, the order of them are our opinions, except for our own placement. We took, we asked the Cheek Drillers to rank us among all of the other teams that got the same overall grade. So we sent them our list of those teams. They said where they want to put us. So our grade and our position here mostly decided by them. So just so that we're not biased about our own draft here.
Because we'd be an A+.
We did.
Just saying.
Did roughly the same thing last season.
We'd be number one.
Season, so yes.
If we did ourselves. No objectivity coming from our end.
I mean, we'll get there again. We were number one for basically the whole season last time, so that's cool. Okay, so now that we have all of the teams evaluated, we're going to begin with the most useless power rankings of the season, as you like to point out. Mm-hmm. Still fun to do. A lot of these are gonna shift quite a bit. Well, maybe not a lot, but some we're bound to get wrong. I mean, I was just looking at our power rankings for the beginning of season 4, and we put the Sky Pillars at 12 out of 14, and
they climbed.
Yeah,
a few spots.
They ended up in pretty consistently in the top 5 in the second half of the season. So yeah, obviously very dominant team. It takes some serious dominance to get to finals. So we could have some of this stuff wrong. Who knows? Who knows? All
It's
right.
expected. We got to give people somewhere to start climbing. Everybody has
Yes.
to have a starting place. You know?
Yeah. We don't have to climb that far because we're already awesome. But, you know.
It's like if you're familiar with NASCAR, like they can't put you all on the same starting line. You guys are going to be stacked, back. So, this is just the qualifier. You guys are just
I think people
Here's
could
one.
probably relate a little bit more to Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So, I can't put you guys all at the same starting line. You guys are going to be back a little bit. Not a big deal though. You start from there.
Okay, so shall we just jump into it?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay, so
Take a nickel wire, too.
first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna jump into the bottom of the power rankings. We're gonna go from the bottom to the top, reveal the number 1 team very last. So this first chunk of teams is going to be 18 at the bottom up to 13 at the top. The next slide, so 13 through 18. The next slide after that is going to be 6 through 12. And then we're going to be doing the top 5 individually. Each top 5 team will get their own slide, same as we did last season. And we will reveal them 5 first, 1 last, as is tradition. So that's going to be our structure here. Probably not going to take too long because all we're really doing is talking about drafts and talking about players. We don't have any games to go off of yet. In our usual power rankings, we like to riff about how they've been doing in their games, how they did, this past week wherever we're at, and how consistent or not consistent that is with how they've been doing in the season. We'll have lots more stuff to talk about as the season progresses. But for right now, it's just the roster and the players piloting it.
Mhm.
So, anything to add before we jump in?
Did we mention that these power rankings are useless?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
It's worth mentioning again.
Yeah. They're worthless power rankings.
That's
But
okay.
Let's get into them.
All right. So, boom, number 13 through 18. The placement of the image here is a little bit wonky, just because I had to I had to fix it to make the camera fit. Whenever we do these goddamn presentations, we always forget to leave room for the little camera in the bottom left corner. Oh, hey, Alan's here. What's going on, Alan?
Hey, Alan.
Alan, you are ranked number 18. This is actually a joke. It's not the New England Patriots. It is the SoCal Cheat Drillers. So,
Right at the beginning of this right here.
yeah. So to start us off, SoCal Cheat Drillers, actually number 19 because that's how bad they are. We're expecting them to go 0 and 10 this season. So.
The cheat drillers? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay.
go ahead. Go start with the Patriots.
So, yes, on a real note, we've got 13 through 18 here. We are separating all of these by the overall grades we gave to each draft. So, starting off with the C's down at the bottom, there are no C minuses. There are 2 teams that earned a C. The Darn Heck and Delibirds at number 17 and the New England Patriots at number 18. So, starting at the bottom with the Patriots, this is one of the first teams we've interviewed. So we've had so many teams on the brain since we've talked to these guys that it almost feels a little bit new talking about this whole Thunderous and Urshifu Amoongus thing again. But I mean, most of the good stuff from this draft comes from the combination at the top. Urshifu and Thunderous is a huge VGC combo. It's especially with Nihiligo forms that nut core that people like. Not so much. I don't think it's going to be showing up that much in Series 8, but back in Series 7, that was a thing. And both of these offensive powerhouses are going to do pretty well next to a redirector like Amoongus. The thing that really shot him in the foot there is picking 3 S tiers right from the start. It just they didn't really seem to budget well, and it really hurt them in the rest of the draft. The rest of their draft is just like it's just very lackluster. It's just kind of a not very offensive trick room mode. With you get another redirector, you get kind of a Paris Trap mode, but I'm really skeptical of how good Paris Trap actually is in 6v6 doubles. Mostly because it's easier to trap to just really pin your opponent with Paris Trap in 4v4. You can kind of just blow up two things, and then you can just Parasong the other two can't switch out. But Mons can still switch out if there's only one from each side gone. So
Yeah.
might work kind of well if you burn down one side a little bit. There's just one thing left, but yeah, they do, and they do have obviously the trapping with the shadow tag, but Gothorita is not the most impressive Pokemon, so I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out. But I'm skeptical that it's really going to work very well. It seems like the only real power they have is in their S tiers, and even then, Thundurus is the one that wants to max here basically all the time. And setting up Max Lightning is really going to neuter Amoonguss's ability to do what it does. Spores no good in electric terrain, so we definitely expect this team to make transactions. I'm sure they'll improve their roster. I'm personally.
But they already talked about that.
Yeah. I think I'm probably expecting them to drop the Amoonguss. That'll free up some points to take a couple other things that'll help him out in the rest of the season after week 3. But for the first 3 weeks, they're stuck with this roster. So we put them at number 18.
At 17, we have the Delibirds. We were questioning their draft a little bit because I believe they took Wartortle in their second pick, and then they took Registeel as their third, with their Moltres as their first pick. We like the Moltres overall. I think it's going to be really good, especially with the Comfey. But overall, we think that their draft lacks a little bit of threat. A lot really doesn't have a lot of synergy outside of the Comfey and the Moltres. So we'll see, though. I mean, honestly, we went more in depth with them on their interview. They had a lot of good answers for why they decided to do certain things, and this team could be something that more suits their play style. And if they're able to get some mileage out of these things, then they should be able to do all right.
Indeed. All right. Number 16. This is our only C+. We've got the Platinum Pixies. This team looks like it can do some serious damage, but most of what I'm seeing on this team is just the Genesect, Landorus, Klefki, and Crobat. It's kind of like, you might be a number 1, Alyssa. You're not 13 through 18, so that at least bodes well for you so far. Or you're 19th, who knows? I don't think we actually had a team that was quite bad enough to actually put it 19th. Except for maybe, Alan and Hector and Brian. Anyway, so Platinum Pixies, number 16. The Crobat and Klefki supporting the Genesect and Landorus seems to be the main thing they want to do here. They have a sort of a lackluster Trick Room mode. If they use the Milotic correctly, it can be properly threatening. But that's kind of the main thing they have going for them, and it's just a little bit awkward because all of their offense is kind of concentrated in 2 Mons.
Yeah.
I think that the Klefki and the Crobat are going to do really well at supporting them. Legendary, like these big 600 BST legendaries are really going to benefit from a variety of different kinds of support, both the Tailwind and the screens from the Crobat and Klefki. They're going to love both of those. Klefki can even set up Rain Dance to help block a fire attack from Genesect. But it's also awkward that both of their offensive powerhouses have 4 times weaknesses. So I think they have this really strong mode. They also explained their thought process on drafting a lot of the stuff based on defensive switching, which might work out. But they have to gain momentum somewhere. They can't just switch and U-turn and flip turn forever.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you can properly take care of their offense and stop the momentum of the Genesect and the Landorus, the team, I'd expect the team to kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
So that's what we got for number 16 on the Platinum Pixies.
At 15, we have the Dark Web Porygons. Yes, you guys are at number 15 for the most useless power rankings of the season.
Don't put too much stock in
Yeah.
these. Again, if you just got here, week 0 power rankings are the most useless ones. So
don't worry about it. We were just talking about this earlier. We had the Sky Pillars second to last or near last. Right?
Third to last.
Oh, yeah.
They were 12 out of 14 last season, and then they made finals.
Yeah, so, if you feel that you have a good team, build with it, get those W's, and you will move up. Don't worry. After this point, we go basically off of wins and losses and your strength of schedule, basically. It becomes a lot more objective. Right now, it's just based off of the grades that we have here. That we had you guys at a B-.
1 in 20.
One of the we liked a lot of things that this draft had, particularly the Garchomp Zapdos mode. One of the things that we do criticize it though is that it relies heavily on rain, and in a draft format, you don't want to put all your stock into one mode, and because it becomes very easily counterable. You want to have a mode like that. I think we saw last season with Ben and Vichy. They had a team with Ninetales and G-Max Venusaur on it. They had the G-Max Venusaur, but it was just kind of a mode. It wasn't like the sole purpose of the stream, or of the team, I should say. It more was just kind of like an extra thing that they had that was also threatening. They had the Urshifu. They had a lot of other things that they didn't have to rely on it. So
they also cycled through 3 different weathers throughout the season.
Yeah.
They had the Politoed and Talion for a while, and then they had Tyranitar for a minute, and then they finished off with the Sun mode.
They didn't put they had enough flexibility in a lot of their draft to switch between modes, and a lot of this stuff here really is heavily dependent on the rain. The Scizor, the Delmise. Even down to like the Zapdos you want like a Hit Thunder or Hurricane, stuff like that. Also, Pikachu we just felt was not really a great pick for this particular draft because it has Lightning Rod. It kind of gives some anti-synergy with the Zapdos, and stuff like Electivire and Electabuzz were still on the board. They also have access to Follow Me, and then you have the Delmise with its only Trick Room setter as the Duskull. It's going to cause a couple of issues if they want to try and sweep in Trick Room. The team has powerful modes, like we said, the Zapdos Garchomp, incredibly powerful Disquake mode. So honestly, if there's enough versatility here, especially with Sylveon, gets a decent support moveset, is also good offensively, can run a few different items to kind of change up how much offense it's going to be putting out and how much versatility it has on a week-to-week basis. So that gave him a B- and ended up at number 15.
Yeah, I think we'll go a little bit more in depth when we actually do our video on their draft, because this is one of the few that we haven't gone in depth with yet. But I think the main thing here is this team looked like they went into the draft thinking, okay, let's draft a rain team. And it's really not a good idea to go into a draft thinking, all right, let's draft this one mode. And that's kind of what it looks like here. I think you can see that even better when you look at their page on the doc, which shows the order of the mons that they chose. I think it's a lot better to go for something more flexible and more generally good. I think I would have liked a Zapdos Garchomp in number 1 and 2 instead of like snatching up the Politoed really quick. You want something that can work with rain and if you happen to get it, but you want something a little bit more flexible as well. Usually you're going to be able to get your rain setter later on, especially if it doesn't look like anybody else is going for rain, which nobody was. I mean, it didn't even look like anybody was approaching the Pelipper or the like Kanto Ninetales or anything like that. So
no weather got taken.
Yeah, I think Politoed's the only weather setter that got drafted.
This team is the only team that has any type of weather on it. So
yeah. Anyway, moving on, we've got the Rainbow Raiders. Very, very threatening top part of the draft with that Firewater Grass core, really wanting to sweep, really wanting to move first, that Colossal with the steam engine. Inteleon's extremely fast and powerful, especially with that G-Max move. And then, of course, you got the Grookey, not quite as offensive as its older brother Rillaboom, but it still wants to be moving first with those grassy glides, and I can see a lot of offensive synergy here. Togekiss was a good first pick. I kind of like the Dragonite as well. They have a lot of ways to self-proc weakness policies between, especially their A tiers here. It was a little bit strange that they picked Togekiss and then went straight into this whole like hyper offensive Fire Water Grass core instead of building a little bit more around the Togekiss. I mean, Togekiss is still going to be able to do good stuff with all these mons because it's very versatile. But it was kind of a weird, they took one step left and then a few steps right. And then they kind of ended up with a lackluster Trick Room mode. We kind of covered the draft order not being the best there. Kind of resulted in some subpar Trick Room mods. So not the best Trick Room mode, not the best lower tier picks, I think. But it's a scary top half of the draft. But I can also see it falling apart if their opponents counter it correctly. So
Yeah.
it's a high risk, high reward kind of draft, but that's also just the nature of hyper offense.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're running something like Colossal.
Yeah.
Next we have Team Pussy with their draft. They also got ranked to B. I think one of the main things that we saw here was they had two really, really big S tier picks that were very, very versatile and very powerful in the G-Max Cinderace and in the Celesteela. Then after that, you see like they went for like the Hatterene and also the Alolan Executor later on in the draft to kind of round out that Fairy Steel Dragon core that can kind of function in Trick Room. They went with a lot of comfort picks here. The Hatterene they've had for 3 seasons straight. The Diggersby, I believe it's been 2 seasons, and
I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think, and the Gengar as well, 3 seasons. So, Pokemon that they're very comfortable with overall. Honestly, should do pretty well here. Obviously, doesn't show much in when you have to rank them, 1 through 18. But I think if you were to talk to them, they'd be very comfortable with their draft. They got 2 very powerful Pokemon at the top of their list. 3 comfort picks. The Celesteela gets protected by the Togedemaru. We're a little bit confused. I kind of like the Pangoro a little bit, but Mantine and Jigglypuff, they're just low tier picks. We're not going to really hurt them too much for picking low tier picks, but
I mean, the Jigglypuff is just a manifestation of how sad and angry they were not to get Cleffa.
Yeah,
it's just, I mean, that's why it's there.
But overall, we ended up giving them a B. I mean, rating drafts like this is kind of tough because we don't really think they're the 13th worst team. We don't think any of these teams are like really that bad. It's just kind of we have to rank the report cards that we give.
Right.
The records will start playing themselves out.
Yeah.
That's what we'll really start to actually check out who is where and what.
Right. Some of these drafts just they made me wonder, especially when you get a draft like this that kind of confuses us, but it's from an extremely competent team like Sebi and Yue. It's just I feel like I'm missing something sometimes. I sort of feel that way with the Delibirds draft as well. The Delibirds draft and Team Pussy's draft just seem like they feel to me like just a mishmash of either good or just solid Pokemon that don't necessarily have like amazing synergy, but they don't really step on each other's toes either. They just kind of exist together. They don't, you're not seeing big combos or like really awesome type cores. You're mostly just seeing like good Pokemon that are just kind of there together. At least that's what it feels like to me. But again, some of this no doubt also comes down to play style as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think particularly with Team Pussy and the Delibirds too, when we interviewed them, they really did have a game plan for everything that they had. They were able to tell us exactly why they picked certain things. And honestly, a lot of times that's all you need. You just need to be able to justify it to yourself, to your teammates, make proper sets that are going to actually fill the role on a week-to-week basis. You have enough solid pieces that you should be able to get out a couple of wins. And then just adjust the team accordingly. But even the top teams are going to do that. We talked about that with one of the teams that's ranked up high too. Is making transactions consistently to try and improve your team as much as possible can be just as important for the top teams as it is for the bottom teams.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not just like if you're a bottom team, you better use transactions to fix your team. Like that's definitely true. But if you see top teams making transactions, that's not weird either. That's how they that's how they perfect their teams even more and stay up at the top. So
saw that from the Matt Alcinas last season.
Right, yeah.
They got rid of a couple of big Pokemon and swapped them out, which helped them out a lot. And they were changing modes basically, 3 times they changed modes majorly, so.
Yeah, 3 different weathers. That's more like, that's less, that's not the kind of transactions you're typically going to see from top teams. That's more just because they're kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it works for them.
Yeah.
So... I really liked seeing them do that, especially since they had success with all 3 modes. Really,
don't know how, but yeah,
they can do that. They're one of the best teams we have in the league. So, not gonna knock them for doing some weird shit like that. All right, moving on. We're going to numbers 6 through 12. Whoops! God damn it! That was so anticlimactic. Boom, 6 through 12. There we go.
Right, so this was so tough because all of these were B pluses, everything. So
let's explain why that is. Why are there so many B pluses?
A lot of people were like, okay, we're going to try and actually draft properly this time. So a lot of people put together very, very competent drafts. But because of that, because there's only so many finite tools. So like to us, let's go ahead and take a step back. An A+ draft would be if you had nobody else drafting with you. Yeah.
Yes, Fishy.
All B+.
B+, yes.
An A+ would be if you had nobody else drafting with you and you had your pick of every single Pokemon and you just filled out those 400 points. That would be an A+ draft. Obviously, that's very difficult to do when you have 18 or 17 other teams also trying to get stuff. So we had a lot of competent drafts here, but these were particular drafts where a couple of things you could tell either got sniped from them, like key pieces that may have gotten sniped, or maybe missing things like redirection, just little things like that. But overall,
holes in their synergy.
Yeah, holes in their synergy. Yeah. Might not have a great Trick Room mode. Just little tiny things that kind of stop them from being like, that separate them from like the other A- teams.
Lackluster Pokemon like Torracat.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes, I'm calling out the potatoes.
What?
Yes.
And Centiskorch.
No, I like Centiskorch more than Torracat.
But that's because we use Torracat. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
I know, but we know how bad it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we didn't use it right. Who knows? But either way, these were all very, very close. Could honestly just be swapped out for one another, really. I mean...
Yeah, you could mix up a lot of these B tiers in any order, almost any order. I think it's clear that there are some that are supposed to be above others, but there's also a bunch that you could mix up in a lot of different ways, and it would still, the rankings here 6 through 12 would still make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I really think so. So was it my next turn? I was going to do the cheek drillers then.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, the cheek drillers, great synergy. Overall, they got a lot of good stuff here. We really like the G-Max Blastoise pick. They had the 2nd overall pick.
Yeah.
We really thought that was fantastic. It can do so many things. Can be offensive, can be supportive. You come in, you have another fire type. You get the Arcanine that's also in the A tier. They kind of went for the exact same draft format, the budget, more or less, than we did last season. I think last time, did we go with 2 C tiers or did we go with
we
B and a C?
We did B and D.
B and D, okay. But more or less, we went with 4 A tiers, and they went with 4 A tiers as well. We didn't go with any S tiers last season. Looks like they didn't either, and they grabbed the Arcanine, the Duraludon, and the Rotom Mow. Honestly, I really like all these these A tiers here. I feel though that I don't know. Brian's gonna kill me that I say this. I'm not a big fan of the Rotom Mow.
Really?
No,
I kind of like it.
I think Celebi would have been good there as a grass type. We talked about that. I think what we grabbed Zarude would have been good there. I know Brian's gonna hate that I say that, but it is. I like the Duraludon. The Arcanine, I think, what was the pick that you had? You said that they should have grabbed which fire type?
Oh, Volcarona.
Yeah, I think the Volcarona would have been nice there too. But I like Arcanine. Arcanine can do a lot of different things. But I think they're going to run into the same trap that the Patrats ran into last season. And that's not enough damage. They do have a lot of decent setup options.
Specifically not enough to justify your redirector.
Yeah. Yeah, with Blastoise. Because it's going to get blown up pretty easily. And you're going to want to be able to at least set yourself up to where you can get good damage off on a consistent basis. So, I do like their team overall. Some classic Brian picks with like the Mimikyu, the Slow King, the Mandibuzz, the Surfetch. These are all Brian influences right here. And for those of you who don't know Valley BC, he is the player who was on Terry's abs back in season 3. Two of the MBL, and they took the first seed. Brian had to quit, and the team wasn't be able to make it past that. But they were absolutely dominant during that season. So having Brian teaming up with Allan and Hector this season, I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to do. They definitely have a lot of experience in leagues like this, and they have a team right now that's versatile enough that can get them pretty far. So we give them a B+. They're down here at number 12, but they can be up there very easily. It's not going to take a lot for them to do that. They have a good team.
All right, coming in at number 11 is Joe and Sierra of the Wet and Wild Wailords. We really like the top half of their draft composition. The Nihilego, Incineroar, Araquanid, Bulu, and Bronzong are fantastic. It's a really good Trick Room mode between the Spider and the Bronzong. Even though they're neither of them hits that 30 base speed, they're both a little bit faster. But I think they both have enough bulk and offense to be a competent Trick Room mode anyway, and still kind of bulk it out against maybe slower, more powerful Trick Room modes. So I think it's actually pretty good, despite us kind of harping on Trick Room modes for not really being slow enough a lot of the time. And then of course they have that classic combo with that 2017 combo with the Bulu, Nihilego, and Arcanine, except with Incineroar instead of the Arcanine this time, which is frankly better because Incineroar just didn't have access to Intimidate back then, so it wasn't quite the same as it is now. And of course it has Parting Shot now. It didn't used to back in Generation 7. So you have a huge amount of great synergy here. I like their offensive capabilities as well. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more speed, but Nihilego with 103 is still good. I expect them to scarf the Bulu once or twice. There's a lot of good stuff up here. The thing that's really holding them back, I think they could, if they had a draft that more or less maintained their strength, or at least maintained the value for the tiers they're picking from in the bottom half of the draft, I could see them being hovering around like the 6 or 7 spot. But we talked a long time about how we really don't believe that the whole Chansey Shuckle thing is worth it. So we're pretty skeptical of that mode that they decided to go to decided to go with. There are a few different things we discussed that could have just made the draft a lot stronger, and if they did something like what we like the suggestions that we had talked about, maybe they'd be a higher B+ team. But they're sitting down here at number 11.
No redirection.
That too, yeah.
Number 10, the Regigeezers, Dave and Austin's team. Kind of the same gist that we have with a lot of these teams. The top of their draft is really good. The middle of their draft is a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Their top draft was the Rillaboom, the Volcanion, the Mr. Mime, and the it wasn't the Cobalion, was it? Yeah, I thought it was the Guidra.
Cobalion was a pretty early pick.
Okay. But yeah, honestly, we felt like the Alolan Persian. I think a better Dark type there would have probably been. They have so much support already, like with the Mr. Mime and stuff like that. That I honestly don't feel that the Alolan Persian was that great there, and they don't have they need a lot of setup in particular. Suicune, we like to double up on the Water type overall, but we felt that they probably could have got a more powerful one earlier in the draft. But
more powerful Tailwind Setter is really what I
Yeah.
think should have been there. Maybe something that can double as a Tailwind Setter and a max Airstream Sweeper.
Yeah. But overall, we like I said, a lot of these teams really close just in general to being top tier teams. You know, I think B plus was more than fair, and these other teams, I think we had 10 through 12 pretty close together. We feel that you can kind of shuffle those around. I would say 9 through 6 is kind of where we were having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, at this point, were you done with the geezers?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, at this point, especially starting with the seniors, like this around the middle of the pack, even this kind of applies to some of the teams even below the seniors. But it gets more and more true as you go up, and that is that a lot of these teams they look really good, and they're not ranked lower because they're not that great. They're just ranked lower because the stuff above them is really great.
Yeah.
We gushed over how much we love the threats coming out of the seniors team. I mean, Jesus, it's like it's just full of things that'll fuck you up real bad, real fast. And they're all very scary. But there's just a lot of stuff above them that are even better.
Yeah.
Not necessarily scarier or more threatening, because we did grade them the highest of anyone in the league on threat level. But yeah, I think they're obviously going to do great things with this draft. I really like it, especially since a lot of it is stuff that they're already comfortable with, and they seem to be really excited about a lot of their new picks as well. They even want to use a support Dracozolt, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a terrifying draft, and it's the only reason it's not ranked higher is because the stuff that's higher we just like even more.
That goes into the potatoes, I guess, and we basically around the same thing there. We really like just that top fantasy core there, the Steel Dragon Fairy with the Metagross, Latios, and Grimmsnarl. We think the Rotom Wash is fantastic. Not a huge fan of the Litten, we're not going to say that, but what we do
Torracat.
the Torracat. But what we do like is that they doubled up on the fire types. They went for a Centiskorch. They understood that Torracat was going to be more or less supportive. I like their Trick Room mode with Lurantis. I really like the Dusknoir pick because it's a C tier that can set Trick Room.
B tier.
B tier that can set Trick Room. That's not an S tier like Dusclops. And has similar bulk. Not as quite as bulky, but still has a good move pool. And then, Cleffa, Bronzor, they could do some decent stuff. Honestly, we really like this draft a lot, and we expect, big things from it, really. Alyssa and Henry are really good players. They made it in playoffs last season. So, yeah, I think they're going to do pretty well. Would have liked to see a redirector out of their team. I think that would have been the one thing that would have put them over the top. But they don't seem too worried about it, so who knows? Maybe they don't need it. They won't need it.
If they had just picked Magmortar instead of
Torracat.
Yeah, instead of Torracat, especially because they actually picked Torracat before the Rotom. So Magmortar was still on the board when they picked that. We got it pretty soon after, but yeah, if they sniped that thing from us and they still went with Rotom after that as well, like, God, this would be such an amazing draft. I would have loved it a lot, even though I would have hated that they took the Magmortar from us. In any case, moving on to number 7 with the Ally Switch spammers. Pretty high B plus team here. I I love the potatoes for those top three picks. I think they're going to work so well together. But I think I think the main reason I wanted to put the ally spammers above the potatoes is because their team is just more well rounded, and there seems to be more good, really solid usable stuff. Whereas the potatoes trick room mode can be a little bit lacking. The Toracad and the Centiscorch I think are kind of underwhelming, but the ally switch spammers, their picks 1 through 7, even 1 through 8 potentially, are all really really solid. I don't see any weak links the way that I feel like Toracad is a weak link for the potatoes. They've just got this really strong offensive mode with these two S tiers up here, the Cinderace and the Regieleki. Really strong Firewater Grass Core, very good Trick Room mode. And even after they were done with their Trick Room mode, they picked up an extremely threatening Pokemon in Haxorus. And just today, when we were talking about their team with Gumi, I mentioned that the Kangaskhan specifically with the Scrappy Fake Out, it provides their team with more to prep for just because they don't have another Fake Out user aside from the Kangaskhan. But the fact that it is the only Scrappy Fake Out in the game gives it this really unique kind of niche that is going to make some teams prep a little bit differently if they really have a ghost type that they're relying on for setting up Trick Room or something. Like Kangaskhan is the only Pokemon that can fake out that Mimikyu on the Cheek Drillers team. It's the only Pokemon that's going to be able to fake out the Drifblim on the Jurors team. So it's going to force some different kinds of prep. I think that some of those teams are not normally used to, because something like a Drifblim, you can just toss it out there, especially if you get your seed up right away. It's like, oh, okay, well, basically the only thing that can stop this Tailwind is a Prankster Taunt. Well, the Kangaskhan adds something extra that they have to look out for. So
definitely,
it's not really I don't think it's a great Pokemon outside of that, but it's a very strange and unique kind of threat just because it has that one little niche.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it just the pressure of it being there gives it some kind of usefulness. So it's weird, but it's interesting and it's unique.
I think 7 is a good spot for them, honestly, and they've proved that they're good enough. They're going to continue to improve the team and basically try and make a good run at playoffs again. At number 6, we have the highest new team in the St. Louis Booloos. We had a lot of new teams, kind of lower ranking, but the Booloos coming in, I think, at the highest slot, number 6.
Yeah, I think. Let me just go back and look. So we got the Wailords down at number 11. Raiders at 14.
The Porygons at 15.
Although the Raiders are not 100% new because Jared played a little bit at the beginning of last season, so they're semi-new. And then Patriots are also semi-new. We got Alex, who's played before. Delaberry's down here. Pixies are new. So the new teams are hanging down more toward the bottom. But the St. Louis Booloos, they Ryan and Izzy Max they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, clearly. I kind of hate how this order is right here because it doesn't show the genius of their draft. They went with Blastoise first, then grabbed the Rillaboom, then grabbed the Togetic, and then grabbed the Heatran last. So they have obviously a very powerful Firewater Grass Core with an amazing redirector in both the Togetic and the Blastoise. They have a very good Trick Room user in the Sweeper and the Reuniclus. And then 3 Pokemon that they kind of felt were a little bit underrated in their ability to support and put out offense in the Obstagoon, the Manectric, and in the Zygarde 10%. So overall, I think we really like this team. I particularly liked how powerful this top half of the draft is. I was telling Matt that one of the reasons why I like this team so much is if they get any type of mileage out of their mid-tier picks, their top-tier picks are so strong. That's really all they need to kind of get going. Being able to switch in the Manectric to take a Lightning Rod attack, to use Lightning Rod to take an Electric attack to protect like a Shell Smash Blastoise could do stuff like win the game. Heatran with Eruption and being able to protect that, with Togetic and being able to protect that, with other things like Obstagoon with Parting Shot and being able to mitigate the damage a little bit. All that stuff can add up and really help you ultimately win the game. So if they get any type of help out of some of these B tiers and the C tiers, then they're going to be in a good spot to win a lot of games. I really like their draft in general, specifically the top of it. One thing that we kind of harped on them a little bit is that they only have the one thing for Trick Room. We saw that with Team Pussy last season, that they really needed something else other than the Hatterene and the Cleffa to kind of put out the offense when they were in Trick Room. I think another Trick Room sweeper to kind of take the pressure off the Reuniclus a little bit would really help them out, so that way they can function in and out of Trick Room very easily. Yeah,
it's an interesting point you bring up about how, because we kind of, one of the things we slammed them on a little bit was that the whole Obstagoon, Zygarde, and Manectric part seemed kind of underwhelming. But it's an interesting point that the top of their draft is so powerful that you don't really need much from them. If you can get a little something out of one or two of them here and there, it's going to be enough to let the top four, by which I mean the Togetic and the Firewater Grass Core, it's going to be enough to let the top four really do everything that it needs to do. I think it's an interesting point. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm excited to see how they do with this team. So, all right, we're moving into the top 5. We're doing each one individually. So the number 5 ranking for the most useless Power Rankings week goes to Doesn't Click, our only 2-time champions.
Yep. This one, I mean, we talked to Ryan a little bit. Even he said that this wasn't their best draft. But overall, we still liked it a lot. We love their 2 S tiers, the versatility that they have with the Volcarona. Man, they got that Escavalier.
Yeah, they did.
It was, and now talking to so many teams, it was on so many people's radar, and they just came in and grabbed it. And so many people were talking about, oh, well, we wanted Escavalier, Man, they came and grabbed it right away. So I think next time, I think it might even warrant like a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
I wouldn't really be surprised.
Yeah.
Especially because of how much we've heard about it. Like you said, everybody we wanted it too.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it. It's probably the best Trick Room sweeper in B tier.
Yeah. Honestly, probably is. And then they grabbed Aromatisse too, which was also a snipe for a lot of people that we heard, apparently. So
we were even thinking about it.
So it was just one of those things, right? What can you do? And, so one of the things that kind of hurt them a little bit was the ×4 weakness that they had on a lot of these Pokemon. The Seismitoad, ×4 weak to grass, ×4 weak to fire with the Escavalier, ×4 weak to the ground, and then ×4 weak for the ground for the Toxicity, and then ×4 weak for the Dark type for the Fairy type in the Urshifu. So, we really like this draft overall, mainly because of the S tiers and a lot of the other versatility that they have. They just grabbed really, really good Pokemon.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, Doesn't Click is always going to be a powerhouse too.
Yeah.
Even if they I do agree. I like their draft from last season better than this one, but it's Doesn't Click. They're still going to be able to at the very least make playoffs.
Yeah.
They kind of the one time they didn't make playoffs, it was kind of due to a bit of bullshit. So
yeah.
I'm confident that they're going to be able to do just fine with this team, and they might even we might even see some transactions from them, especially if they or rather when they realize how useless the Seismitoad is.
What can you do? You get sniped.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Coming in at number 4. Who's it going to be? Who's number 4?
Probably the best team in the league.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly right. Best team in the league, number 4, the Amoonguss Burnouts. It's we've been focusing on everybody else's draft so much. It's weird coming back to ours. We haven't even thought about it in a little while, but
yeah, it's been a while.
Well, we're gonna have to this week since battling's about to start. But
yeah,
we went with a very familiar core up top with the Mew, Clefable, and Keldeo. But this time, we added the Zarude to it, which I think just I'm very excited to use this whole
Yeah.
core. We even got like a really powerful fire type in Magmortar because we were kind of we almost achieved the whole psychic fighting dark and fire water grass and just those first picks. It was just lacking that fire type. We got a really good one, and it doubles as a second redirector. So that's
Yeah.
oh, that's really nice. And then the
It's
Cottony
got
just
good stats too.
yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
There's going to be a surprising amount of stuff we do with it. It's not just going to be a follow me Pokemon, and frankly, Clefable's not just going to be follow me either, since they can allow the other one to do
Yeah, exactly.
do other things. So, and then the Cottony I think is just going to help immensely with the offense, with disrupting the opponent's team, with it's a great support Pokemon. Priority Tailwind is excellent. We had Cottony for most of the season last time, and I think it's I believe once again we're the only ones with Priority Tailwind.
Yeah.
Nobody has Whimsicott or Tornadus
Tornadus,
Incarnate
yeah.
or Talonflame or any of its pre-evolutions. That's it. Those are the only ones. So, and then we got a pretty sweet Trick Room mode with the Copperajah and the Kanto Slowbro. So we have a lot of experience with Slowking being on our winning team last
Yeah.
time. Slowbro is extremely similar.
Oblivious is just so great.
God, it's nice. It's really nice.
Yeah. You can just put Sash on it, and it becomes so reliable to set Trick Room up, especially when you support it properly.
Yeah, I mean sometimes. Well, we put Sash on it sometimes, but not always. If we're ever going up against a stray fissure, you can be sure there'll be a Sash on it though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes you just run choice specs and go for Focus Blast.
Oh God, that was good. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really excited to use this team. It's in some ways it's at least the top mode is better than what we've had before, because previously our dark type up there was Obstagoon in season 3, which we found was just very underwhelming. It was hard to bring frequently, so hopefully we'll see a change there with the Zarude also adding that crucial grass typing. And then I think what's really nice about this core is that we often talk about how like a fire water grass core really likes to have an electric type just kind of as the cherry on top. The 3 fire water grass types are obviously the more important ones. You don't need the electric type the way that you need the other 3. It's more just that extra, but it's if there's a 4th type that's going to go with it, it's that electric type. And here for the psychic fighting dark core, I feel like the fairy typing is that cherry on top, and to have that as our redirector, I think we have experience with this mode, and I think we just improved this whole core even more. And I'm really excited to use it.
Yeah, Clefable
again.
just helps so much. It really is the glue to all like this whole team here.
And now it doesn't even need to be the only glue because we have 2 redirectors.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
So it's gonna give us a lot more versatility in what we do with both Magmortar and Clefable. We have plans for both of them that don't even involve Follow Me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Can't wait.
all right, coming in at number 3. Who's number 3?
The team we beat.
Yeah, they're why are they ahead of us? This doesn't seem right. What's going on here?
Whatever.
All right, so we've got the mediocre Mudkips here at number 3. Again, the way that we did this was we grouped all of the B pluses together without us. We ranked all of them without us in the mix, and then we asked Allan, Hector, and Brian to decide where we're going to be placed within all of those B plus teams. They placed us second, the only B plus team that, according to them, that's actually better than us is these guys. So Shannon and Ferret drafted an excellent team. We don't think it was quite up to snuff in terms of getting an A or an A minus for their grade. A couple of reasons for that, but They took the goddamn ice horse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. It's I love the horse so much, and it's one of those Pokemon that it's so incredibly threatening. Even if you have ways to deal with it, it's just gonna blow through so many teams just doing what it does. It doesn't even need to switch roles or anything. The way that we talk about versatility, it's very important. Pokemon like Rotom and Latios, they on this draft they have great versatility, but the horse doesn't even need it. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's so powerful. So, yeah, the horse is strong. But that's not the only thing they have on their team. Oh, but the Riolu makes it even more threatening. Priority coaching on the horse is it's awesome. But they made a really good team anyway. They have some really high value A tiers, especially the Latios. I'm really excited to see the Latios come out from these guys and from the potatoes. They've got some really solid stuff. They've got some good type cores. The biggest thing that we kind of ripped him for was number one, not taking a better Trick Room setter, and number two, waiting until round 7, I think it was, to actually take that Trick Room setter. Very questionable decision for a Glastrier team. If you're gonna have Gourgeist as a Trick Room setter, I think you need another Trick Room setter alongside it to just to add a little bit of versatility in what you can do. Ideally, that Trick Room setter is something like an Aromatisse or a Kanto Slowbro or a Johto Slowking, something with an ability that makes it immune to Taunt, so that has like that built-in Mental Herb, while your Ghost type Trick Room setter in the Gourgeist is immune to Fake Out, so it's well, except for Kangaskhan. I really like having diverse Trick Room setters like that, which I, without even realizing it, I actually just described both of our Trick Room setters from last time. I genuinely didn't realize I was doing that just now, but that just goes to show how goddamn good our draft was last time. we had that diversity in our Trick Room setters, and I think that's what I really want to see from a team that has something as powerful
as you have
the
Ice Horse. Get the best Trick Room mode.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. That's why you want more reliable and diverse ways to set up Trick Room.
We did that for Pincurchin.
Yeah! You guys have Ice Horse and you didn't do it for Ice Horse. Oh man. But I think maybe some transactions could help. I don't know. I think the one big Trick Room setter I would have loved to see paired with Ice Horse is Gothitelle. Mm-hmm. They'd have to rework quite a bit of their draft, and they'd also have to... They'd probably have to sacrifice the Latios if they wanted to go get it, which is a big sacrifice. I'm not even sure it's worth it. But
what if the Patch Rats drop Gothita?
It's certainly possible. I mean, I think they're probably going to find that their Perish Trap mode is not very good, so I can see it happening.
They could upgrade to Gothitelle, honestly. We talked to them a little bit about dropping an S and a B to grab 2 A's.
Yeah.
So one of those B's is Gothita.
True. But yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing that we were after him for. The Ribombee, I think, with the speed swap is also going to be really fun. So, yeah. No, Dan, Delibirds are if you're just getting here, Dan, Delibirds are 17, so not quite number 1, almost.
Got a little bit of a climb.
Yeah. You guys can do it though. You guys
will be all right.
All right, so that's number 3. I guess we're good. We're good.
Okay, so we're out of the B pluses. Finally, there were so many of them.
2 teams at the top that we gave A minuses to, and the first one is
the Rural Jurors.
You want to take this one?
Man, this draft has pretty much everything that we look for in a draft. I mean, I like that Sebi does this, but it doesn't show the brilliance of their draft. They grabbed Tapu Fini at like the 11th overall pick. They ended up grabbing the Raichu with the Follow Me and the Lightning Rod because they know redirection is important. Grabbed Victini to kind of give it a high tier water and fire core, which at first I kind of was wondering if it's worth it to grab a fire type that high. But we found out later on in the draft that there weren't a lot of very good fire types outside of S and A tier. It was kind of slim picking. So now, like in hindsight, the Victini pick seems better and better because of it's so versatile and it's has that fire typing.
Yeah, I think if you're looking like in the B tier, it's kind of just limited to like Magmar, Magmortar, Salazzle,
yeah.
and like Blaziken. Maybe there's one or two more we're forgetting, but like just maybe.
Blaziken would have been nice with this team, but I like the Victini. I think it was a good job.
Oh, the Victini is going to do
Yeah.
great here. I like it a lot.
And then they grabbed the Serena. They grabbed fast Tailwind user with the Drift Limb that kind of goes well with the Tapu Fini. And then they grabbed a good Trick Room mode with the Jellicent and the Dragalge. Jellicent and Raichu pair so well together too because it could either fake out, it can charm something, it can nuzzle stuff. Has the Lightning Rod ability to where like if it wants to, there's an electric type next to it and it wants to fake out the one that's not in the Dynamax slot. It's like okay, I can fake you out and still protect you from any type of electric move with Lightning Rod still. So
And you get Follow Me and Lightning Rod at the same time now,
Yeah,
which
so-
is pretty cool.
I honestly just really like them going to grab the Jellicent just overall because it's a bulky Trick Room setter. Has the water typing to kind of help protect against ground types from with the Dragalge. Dragalge in general, I want to see them use it. I think it can be very powerful. It was very underwhelming last season because I don't think it was in the proper hands. It was on a hard Trick Room mode that didn't really support it very well.
It was on a hard Trick Room team that wasn't really able to get Trick Room up. So,
And I still don't understand how they got Tangrowth in the 8th.
yeah, that's kind of nuts.
But they got another redirector just in case, a Rage Powder user, which helps their trick or their Follow Me user a lot more. Should I say having Follow Me helps the Rage Powder user a lot more. So,
Yeah.
I think overall this is a fantastic draft. It has a lot of synergy, has a lot of versatility. We did hit them a little bit for the threat level, but I think they're going to be able to do nice things here. There's just so many things that they can do that a couple of item changes on a week-to-week basis can get out enough power to where they can just take KOs. So I think overall I really like their draft, and they're sitting here at the number 2 slot.
Number 1. Do we know who it is? I don't even know who it is because I abandoned them a long time ago. Ben and Vichy of the Matt Alcinas.
No relation.
Yes.
This is not Matt's team.
No, not officially anyway.
This is not Matt's team. This is run by Ben and Vichy. I know that the logo is Matt's face, but this is not Matt's team.
Why did they put an IKEA hat on me? I still don't understand.
Matt is part of our team, the Amoonguss Burnouts. This is run by Ben and Vichy, 2 SoCal players that are Matt stands.
If they win the league, I'll take credit anyway.
Yeah, it's usually how it works. I mean, but we did not give them this grade just because they have the same name as Matt. We gave them this grade because, god damn, this draft is good. They did a fantastic job on this thing. First things first, they said that they had no idea they were going to have the 5th pick, right?
6, I think.
6 in the pick. And they had no plans to draft it, but as you do in any type of draft format, you take the best thing that's available on the board, and they went and grabbed NDD right away. I think that was the perfect move.
Yep.
Then they started filling it out with high-tier, well, not high-tier picks, but very threatening Pokemon. Doesn't show here, but they got the Reggie Drago at the 2nd spot, and then they got, I believe it was the Blaziken, 3rd?
Yes, I think
it was
so.
Blaziken, Swampert, Kartana, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And, they overall just drafted a fantastic team. Lots of threats, lots of different versatility. Normally we say that they didn't have a Trick Room mode, but I think they have the tools to really pull it off here. All these Pokemon have a purpose. I think that's one of the big things. They have the redirection with obviously the NDD and also the Electivire, so they have 2 redirectors, something that we thought a lot of teams should do. The Gardevoir serves a purpose because it gets expanding force. It helps with the NDD. The Hawlucha, they picked that last. That also helps with the NDD with the Psychic Seed activation, things like that. The only thing that seems out of place is the Glaceon. And how am I going to tell Vichy that his Glaceon isn't good when he top cut with it
Yeah.
at one of the largest VGC regionals ever?
It's very unassuming. I don't think people expect it to be the threat that it is, especially because the pure ice typing is not good. It's got like 4 weaknesses and only resists itself. But I think because people don't use Glaceon very much, they forget that it has some kind of crazy stats. Its speed is awkward, and it doesn't have very good coverage. But offensively, ice is very good. It's got like 130 base special attack, I think, and really good defenses. So even if you're hitting it with a super effective attack, if it's not stab, it's probably not knocking it out. It's yeah, I think it's actually going to do work for them, especially since Vichy knows how to use it.
Vichy knows how to use it, and then you have to face it after they already blow you up with Reggie Drago, Kartana, Blaziken, Gengar, and then they come in with Glaceon and just finish you off with that 135 special attack stat. Yeah, I'm not going to tell Vichy that this thing's not good because he's proved otherwise, and everything else here has a purpose, and it sets everything up in an incredibly threatening position. So many things here love NDD Psychic Terrain. Obviously, obvious stuff like the Gardevoir and the Gengar like it as well because Gengar has a high speed stat. But Blaziken and Kartana too because of that same high speed stat. Reggie Drago, if you put a scarf on it, it really benefits from not being hit by priority. So
that thing, the stupid little Dragon Ball up there, I am way more convinced that was actually a really good pick now than I was at the time. I was very confused by it at the time.
Yeah,
but
same.
after hearing them explain why they took it and what kind of experience Vichy had with it, I think it's gonna do a ton of work. They said they think it should have been an S tier. I wouldn't go that far, but I think they're gonna get a lot out of it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it at the top of the kill list this year. Just because Dragon Energy can be pretty ridiculous, and the stuff that Vichy says he's able to do with it,
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty crazy. So I think that does it for them, huh?
I think so. Yeah, it's just we just love this team a lot. It's one of the few teams that has a full roster of 10 Mons.
Mm-hmm.
If you have E or D or E tiers, don't come at us telling us that you have a full roster of 10 Mons. We're not going to buy it. We have E tiers. We don't have a roster of 10 Mons either.
Yeah.
But this one does. This draft does. And there's just so much good type distribution. There's so much good synergy here, typing-wise and support-wise. They benefit from a lot of the stuff that these supported Pokemon can do. They have some really good Tailwind users in Hawlucha and Kartana. It's... a lot of stuff likes the psychic terrain and the redirection. It's just great. It's fantastic.
They made top 8 the first season, made top 4 the last 2 seasons.
They made finals in season 3.
Oh yeah, they made finals in season 3. Of course, I forget that. So they've proven that they can be, they've proven that they're elite players in this league. They're going to consistently make the playoffs. They're going to consistently beat the better teams. I like this draft. They're gonna do good. They put themselves in a position to take their first championship this year for sure.
Yeah, I think. It's obviously very very premature, but if I was forced to put money on it, this is the team that I would bet wins the season.
Yeah.
Again, these are week 0 power rankings. They're very very useless. I would not be surprised if that turns out to be wrong just because of that fact.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck it, I'll make the prediction. Why not?
Yeah, they're definitely going far. They'll make it to finals for sure. So, I think I'd be willing to go that far. After finals, who knows? It's a crapshoot, especially if they're going against us. But
we'll see.
We'll see. No, they got a good team. I can't wait to see what they do. So
yeah, for sure. Especially since we don't actually play them in the regular season. So
not this time. No.
Yeah.
I think we've played them the most out of any other team.
I think so.
In multi-battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that does it for our power rankings. We got the full list right here. It's a little small since we had to cram 18 teams in here, but yeah, we've got New England Patriots down at 18, the Darn Heckin' Delabirds coming in at 17, Platinum Pixies at 16, Dark Web Porygons 15, Rainbow Raiders at 14, Season 3 champions Team Pussy down at 13. Again, would not be surprised to see them rise up through the ranks like last time. SoCal Cheek Drillers at number 12. Wet and Wild Whalelords at number 11. Reggie Geezers, our league coordinators, at number 10. Sadistic Seniors at 9. Potatoes at 8. Ally Switch Spammers at 7. Our highest rated new team, the St. Louis Blues, at number 6. Former champions, season 1 and 2 champions, Doesn't Click at number 5. Us, the Amogus Burnouts, at number 4. Last season's finalists, the Mediocre Mudkips, formerly the Sky Pillars, at number 3. The Rural Jurors, Dina and Taryn, at number 2. And Ben and Vichy of the Mad Alcinas at number 1. My pick for the season's champion. So I guess that should do it.
I like number 14.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, Jeremy. They picked 3 S tiers, Jeremy. 3 S tiers.
Yeah, that was a problem. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm sorry. They're going to fix it up, though, I'm sure.
I love Alex. I love... No, Glocka is a SoCal local. Love the guy. 3 S tiers. 3.
Yeah,
Can't
not
do
so good. Not great planning on their part. Yeah, Dan, if you want to tell yourself that, yeah, it's the higher the number, the better the ranking. So you're basically number 2. That's cool. You can yeah. I don't know why, Jeremy. It's just I think just short-sightedness. I don't think they were thinking that far ahead.
So I don't want to end it like that. They already said that they're going to make some transactions.
Yes, of course.
They already said they were a little bit short-sighted. They're going to make some transactions. Thunderous Urshifu, it's a good core. I think if they drop the Amoongus, drop another B tier, pick up 2 A tiers, and then use the rest of the transaction periods to kind of rebalance the middle and end of their draft, they should be okay to make a deep run, I think. Fungus is still available.
That's true. There were some. I'm actually surprised at how many redirectors got left on the board. There's some of the really low tier redirectors like the Pichu and Squirtle and Togepi. I'm not so shocked that those didn't get taken. But maybe by a team that didn't have redirection already. That's who I would think would want to take one of those. Even Electabuzz I think is still on the board. The mat's got Electivire, but its previous form is still on the board. It's got Follow Me. Fungus is probably the best redirector in C tier right now because it does have Rage Powder instead of Follow Me, but god damn it's slow and it has Spore. So if anybody's looking to pick up something like that, I think that could actually be a decent pickup for the Patriots. It's still kind of some anti-synergy between the Thunderous and the Fungus, but I think if they restructure their team, they might not need to deal with that quite so much.
It's a lot less damaging when you're just anti-synergy with another C tier than with another S tier.
Yeah. Right. So, those are our Week 0 power rankings. Things are going to move quite a bit going into Week 1. The first Week 1 power rankings next weekend. We're going to be doing the same kind of thing. Teams tend to move pretty dramatically in the beginning as they're winning and losing their first set of matches. It starts to get a little bit more solidified once people have more of a fleshed out record. Once teams are, they have a lot of wins. Even if they lose one, they're not really going to drop much because they've been on a hot streak. And same can go for bottom teams a lot of the time. So teams are going to get more solidified as we go. But these first few weeks, the shifting in the power rankings is going to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for teams that we were wrong about here. So. Just keep that in mind. Week 0 power rankings are pretty useless, at least compared to all the other weeks.
Yes. Don't put any stock into this. These are useless. Play your weeks out and the results will show for themselves. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I just want to end on some thanks after we're not completely done with all of our preseason content. We like we said at the beginning, there's still a couple more interviews to do, but we still have to thank everybody who's been involved in helping us with this endeavor and getting the new season underway. So league coordinators Dave and Austin of the Reggie Geezers. I put both of them up there because Austin used to be the main guy and then handed it off to Dave. So I kind of count them both as our league coordinators. League admin team has done a fantastic job of coordinating everything in the to start off the season. Everything's been really smooth. There's always an admin around to answer a question or settle whatever is happening, and that'll persist, I think, through the season as well. We did pretty well at managing everything through the last season, especially because of how many of us there were. It's not just Dave doing everything on his own anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's great to have all the help, and I could not be happier with our admin team. Our executive producer Dina, we credited her as our producer and editor last time. We're doing a little bit more of the legwork ourselves. She's more like she's more just kind of funding this project with all of her technology. So gotta give her a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that every time. So, and then very importantly, we have to thank all of the teams who interviewed with us once again.
Thank you guys.
The fact that you guys are willing to do that makes all of our content so much more dynamic, so much more interesting. We get to hear all of your thoughts. It's not just us sitting in a room talking shit about these teams. We actually get to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
And there's so much valuable information that we get from those conversations where, if there's something we don't like or something we're confused about, it would just be us talking about how we don't really like it. We don't think it's going to do well. If it was just us by ourselves, but we get to talk to you guys and get all this information and
lets other league members know who you are too.
Yeah, exactly.
Lets us know who you are.
Right. I think it just it helps to build a better community in our league, and helps to connect people more, since we're not just chatting through text all the time. People actually get to we get to have actual conversations with everybody, but at least hearing people talk a little bit more. It's a little more human than just chatting through text.
That's probably our goal this year, is to kind of get everybody to understand, not understand, but get to know our league members a little bit more. Our vision of this is our first one, so it's going to be really static and kind of like our old style videos. But we want the new streams to kind of be all right, here are the power rankings. Cool, that was cool. Let's talk about this match. Is there anybody here from that match that can talk and hop in Discord and call us and talk to us real quick?
Yeah.
And we want people to kind of get to know everybody from stuff like this, and talking with each other and getting insight from other matches and putting some personalities to these teams, other than just kind of going oh, I gotta play this random team that I don't even know who's on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of our big things, and you guys being on with the interviews with us really helps us flesh that idea out a lot more.
For sure, yeah. We're gonna be streaming these pretty consistently every Sunday night. We're gonna try to go as early as possible, because we know there's a lot of people in later time zones that it's 11:30 PST right now, so there's not we weren't expecting to get a whole lot of people, especially East Coast people, out to this stream to watch it live. That's okay. We totally understand. We're gonna try to do them as early as possible, given our own schedules and how long it takes for the week's games to finish up. But we're gonna try to get as many people in as possible. The timing is important in that. So as early as our time permits, we're gonna try to make that happen. So that should be it, right?
Yeah. Thanks for coming to the most useless power rankings that we are going to do. Just want to say that for the umpteenth time. I don't think we can say it enough, honestly.
Yeah. So we're going to have a couple more interviews to upload this week. with the Porygons, the Cheek Drillers, and then the Drillers are going to interview us about our team. And we're going into week one. I think most people that are watching this are probably going to be watching this tomorrow on Monday. So, I got to put the pick'ems up. That's what I'll do. Oh, damn it. Forgot to do pick'ems here. Oh, well, that's fine. Good luck going into the first week. I think that's about it. Got any final thoughts?
Yeah, Moongus Burnouts beating the Reggie Geezers week 1.
That's the only pick'em.
3-0. 3-0.
We'll give them some credit, I guess.
Yeah. It'll be good. Yeah. But we're going to win.
All right. That'll do it for us. We'll see you guys with a couple more interviews this week. We'll upload our battle with the Reggie Geezers next weekend, and then we'll see you for the week 1 power rankings next Sunday night.
Important one.
Yeah, well, the most important one yet.